ഞാൻ എന്നാ ഇവിടുന്ന് കൊടുക്കാം, പറഞ്ഞോ. ചാട്ടില്ല, ഇതില്ലായിരുന്നു അവിടെ. ഞാൻ എന്റെ അതിനകത്ത് വെയിറ്റിംഗ് ആണല്ലോ അപ്പൊ. ഓക്കെ, ലോഗിൻ അപ്രൂവൽ കണ്ടിന്യൂ. അപ്രൂവൽ അയ്യോ നടക്കുന്നില്ല. ഹലോ, പറഞ്ഞോളൂ. കേട്ടില്ല. ഹലോ പറയാമോ, ഞാൻ നിങ്ങളെ അങ്ങോട്ടാക്കും. ഡോണ്ട് വരി. ശരി. ഇതിപ്പോ എന്റെ ഫേസ്ബുക്ക് അക്കൗണ്ടിലേക്കല്ലേ പോകുള്ളൂ. ഇത് ബാക്ക് അടിക്കണം. അപ്പോ പേജ് എവിടെയാ? ഹലോ, ശരി.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Asha.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
All well, all well.
All well. Great, great, sir. Yeah.
I hope we have a good connection, right?
Yes, yes. mm. So your lockdown also been extended?
Yes.
Yeah.
What about Kerala?
Ours is till 15th, sir.
Okay.
But tomorrow and day after, complete lockdown, I believe. You can't go out at all. Saturday, Sunday. Yeah. Sudeep, are you there? Hello.
No, ma'am. Sudeep, sir, not in the panel list.
Okay, okay.
Sir, we will start exactly at 6:45.
Sure.
Mhm.
Good evening. Good evening,
evening.
Ashna ma'am. Good evening, Ninan sir. Do we start sharp on time? That is another 2 minutes.
I am ready.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll start.
Yes,
Good evening.
ma'am.
Good evening, all. Thank you for joining us. Hope all of you are safe and in good health. My name is Jisni George, Assistant Professor, DCSMAT Institutions. In continuation to the live webinar series by DCSMAT, I welcome you all to today's session, Making the Best Use of Professional Studies by Sri NINAN THARIYAN. We're looking forward to an extended interactive session for which we request your wholehearted participation like before. Since the audio-visual access have been limited, if you would prefer asking a question directly, kindly drop in a message and we will revise your audio-visual access accordingly. You can also drop in your questions in the chat box like before, which our support team will gladly acknowledge. Our guest for today's session is Shri NINAN THARIYAN, CEO of DT Next, retired as Vice President from the Times of India Group, who has also been a visiting faculty at many top-notch institutions in India. Thank you, Shri NINAN, for being here amidst your busy schedule. Architect Siriak TN, Dean, DC School of Architecture and Design, Dr. N. Ramachandran, Dean, Management Studies, DCSMAT Institutions, Ms. Asha Finn, Corporate Relations Manager and Student Counselor, respected principals, heads of the departments, my fellow faculties, our beloved students, and each and every one of you gathered here. We appreciate all of your presence for this event. For the presidential address, I welcome Architect Siriak, Dean, DC School of Architecture and Design.
Thank you, Jasni. Good evening. Distinguished speaker of the evening, Sri NINAN THARIYAN, faculty members of DC Schools of Architecture and Management, and all DCNs. We're all excited to have Sri NINAN THARIYAN as a speaker today. This series of webinars prove that knowledge has to flow and reach its destinations, crossing all barriers, even in these difficult times. The extent of knowledge supports the lifeline of culture. It's like blood flowing through our bodies. Something to take thousands of years to achieve through natural evolution can be achieved by human beings in a fraction of time. And this is by learning. The systemized learning process is the process of education. And education lays the foundations of culture. The phenomenon of culture is unique to human beings, as we know. No other species shows any evidence of culture as the way we understand culture. Culture evolves and develops as a response to values. As an education institution here, I stress culture because we are driven by these very values, these unique values of culture. It starts with our foundation, a personality like D.C. Karikamuri, a Gandhian, a freedom fighter, a cultural crusader, innovator of many ideas, a publisher, and the reason behind the reading habit of the all Malayalis. Since this time, DC book sets the cultural agenda of Kerala. And that, I believe, is actually quite a core value in education. When this institution was conceived, I was there right from the beginning, and from the early days. I believe that it was an effort to extend those values into action. When decisions were made on the location, the physical form of the campus, another set of values were applied. And we cannot distinguish between this. Everything ties together into one single entity. Decisions on the spatial form, the way the buildings and open space are distributed in natural environment, architecture, visual settings, the way we see things, and to take advantages of the weather. We have a campus which is amazing in terms of its weather conditions. And the idea of nature. Nature as a major participant in the daily life of the campus. These are all extensions of the certain, critical ideas of culture. And that is why every moment is dramatic in the Vagamon campus. So our unique campus reinforces the idea that quality of the environment around us adds value to whatever we do. And with a combination of the dynamic teaching faculty, committed students, and a structured academic program, and delivery systems like this, the life in DC is a time to value for. So as an architect, I was sharing my excitement about the physical settings of the place, which I believe is actually quite important in any academic process. I'm not continuing with further. We're all eager to hear our eminent speaker today, which I'm sure will take us to greater heights of knowledge and understanding. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Currently CEO of DT Next, a new English venture from the Daily Tanti Group. Previously worked with Bennett Coleman and Company Limited, publishers of the Times of India, world's largest selling English newspaper, the Economic Times, and a large number of other publications in various capacities in Mumbai, Pune, Ahmedabad, and Chennai markets for over 30 years. Retired as Vice President from the Times of India Group, has been a visiting faculty at various elite institutions such as Vellore Institute of Technology, SRM Chennai, Loyola Institute of Business Administration, Times School of Marketing, Rajgiri Business School, and SCMS Cochin, to name a few. Serves as a member of the board of Rajgiri Business School and Organic BPS Kochi. He also serves as an on Engineering Glasgow, UK. Shri NINAN THARIYAN, we welcome you to the session.
Thank you. Good evening, faculty members, students. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Someone confirm? Yeah, all right. When Asha spoke to me about addressing students, I was curious to know what is the profile of the students. And then she told me that the group has management students, students of architecture, and undergraduate students. And that made me a little nervous because these are different disciplines and different backgrounds and various stages of their academic stages of their academic progress. So I then chose a topic which I thought would be useful to everyone, and that is making the best use of professional studies. A lot of times we choose a particular program out of various compulsions. It could be parents, it could be peer pressure, it could be some wrong notions about the line in which you want to study. There's so many such things that I've heard from students that some of them regret later, and some of them, tend to like it even better after joining the program. So I thought I have two alternatives. One is to give you a feel-good talk and tell them that, you are great people and I'm very glad and that I'm addressing you, and I thank you for this opportunity given to me to address you, and I can wish them good luck in their future, all the endeavors. That is one route. The other route is to critically make some observations based on my experiences as a parent, as a teacher, and as an employer. So among the two approaches, I chose the second one, unfortunately. So it's not a feel good. It's what I feel, but I'm not blaming anyone. This is something I feel probably what I could have done if I were a student now. What I missed. There was nobody to tell me when I was a student. So if I were to live again and go back to college, this is what I would probably do during a professional program. In the first approach, as I said, in the first alternative, I'm sure that you would have been happier and you would have been contented. But in the current scenario, that it may make you feel little wanted, rather wanting, and maybe you may feel little uncomfortable also. My understanding of a student, first of all, is someone who is a learner forever in life, a perpetual learner. We remain students till we die. We are eternal students. For many people, student life ends when you get a degree. And I think that's a wrong notion. We learn because knowledge is something which evolves all the time. There is no stopping for evolution of knowledge. So your learning does not stop with a degree. That's what I wanted to tell you right at the beginning. And if you think that a degree certificate is that what you're chasing all your life, you may be absolutely wrong. Because degree certificate is only a certificate which tells you that you have gone through the process. It doesn't tell you your eligibility to get a job or to perform in a job if you are looking at a career. So your learning does not end with a degree, and degree is not even giving you a guarantee for a job. There is no guarantee. So do not study for a degree is what I am trying to say. So therefore, I have 17 points which I want to discuss with you. And you may wonder that all these points, there is nothing new. These are known to everyone. So I'm just trying to awaken your mind and to tell you to bring these points right in front of your mind, to your conscious mind. That's all I'm trying to do. So I'm not going to bring anything new to the table. First of all, I feel you should have a goal in life. When I say a goal in life, in Alice in Wonderland, the Cheshire Cat tells Alice, if you don't know where you're going, it doesn't matter where you reach. Imagine you are searching on the Google map, and if you don't know where you're going, how are you going to search? Life is exactly like that. Academic life is also the same. If you don't know where you're going, then it doesn't matter where you reach. So, first of all, do you have a destination? There are two types of people I've seen. There are people who believe in destiny, and there are people who are driven by destination. So, it's a choice whether you want to become destiny driven or destination driven. If you are destination driven, then you have to go through the rough patch of life many times. If you are destiny driven, you can always blame on destiny. You can say that, my jatak wasn't right, or it was a bad time for me, and so on and so forth. You can blame a whole lot of people. And the goal which I was talking to you about should be as specific as possible. So it's better to have a goal clarity right at the beginning. Nothing like writing it down. Nothing like writing it down and looking at it once a while, whether you are in tune with that goal or are you drifting away. If you study the life of successful people, all of them had a very clear goal. So there are people who have been successful without a goal by drifting, but that's, I would say, it's more of a luck. The second point is start liking the subjects you study. There are people who are compelled to do studies, or you have taken a study for whatever reason other than love for a subject. So you have to develop a passion for the subjects that you're studying, be it management, be it architecture, and music, and anything for that matter. So in order to do that, you don't limit yourself to only textbooks. You have to, most of the colleges, I've been to your campus and I've seen you got a very good library. How many students are making use of the library? And how often do you go to the library? How much time are you spending in the library? Are you making use of all the books and periodicals that are there while you are there? Haven't you paid for it? When you pay fees to the institute, aren't you paying for the library also? Now you all have smartphones in your hand. You have Google search. I know you all search, but are you searching for the right subjects? Are you searching for the subjects that you are studying, the subject of your passion, a subject that you are planning to have a degree or your career? So this is where I think we are spending time, but at the wrong places, at the wrong the wrong time at the wrong places. So this is what you have to start liking the subject. You have to start loving the subject, and then only you get better clarity. A third point is you have to align with your professors. When I say align with your professors, we all keep a distance from the professors because in our society we find there is a sort of a compulsion to keep away from them. I think culturally we feel they are different kinds of people. Try becoming friendly with them. I can tell you your life will change because they have gone through the studentship. So they have been students in the past. Now they are teaching. They are much more knowledgeable. So that you can use them as your mentors and they can advise you in a difficult situation. And you can also gain better knowledge even outside the classroom if you become friendly with your professors. I don't see this sort of a rapport in our campuses. I've been a student in USA and I see the kind of rapport the students and faculty have there. It's very special. It's extremely special, and that's why, you know, a lot of students start doing research. They go beyond the classroom. They do a lot of projects out of interest in a particular subject, and that's why in those countries, the experience of studying is very different. It's a different experience altogether. Actually, it's very happy and enriching experience for students. The next point is take part in seminars and symposiums and group discussions. This will build your confidence. What happens is when you come out of your college, you are one among the many people who have the same degree. You all have gone through the same process, same lecture, same classroom, same exam. What makes you different? Have you ever thought that I should stand ahead of others? I should stand apart from others? And how do you do that? In marketing, as you know, how do you distinguish your product from your competition is the whole game. And how do you distinguish yourself from other students? And that is by building a strong resume. And a strong resume can be built only by involving yourself in extracurricular activities. Because the curriculum is the same, the syllabus is the same, the exam is the same, the lecturers are the same. So how do you make this difference? When you go for an interview or any aspect in anything which is competitive in nature, what makes you different is the extra qualities or experiences that you possess. And that's what you have to start doing when you're in college. It could be that you take interest in sports, it could be art, it could be competitions, it could be seminars and symposiums and group discussions. A lot of people, I remember Malayalam Manorama had this wonderful program called Balajana Sakhya. Today, if you look at the political leadership of our state in Kerala, whether it is Umman Chandi or whether it is A.K. Anthony, all of them have come through Balajan Sakhi. They proved their mettle, they proved their leadership through these, and this has nothing to do with the college. Imagine it has nothing to do with the college. It is something outside the college. They proved their worth, they got the recognition, they got the leadership abilities, and then they were able to lead the state. So this is what I'm saying, that in a college, each person is unique. Each person's opportunity in the college is unique. But you have to ask yourself whether you are using these opportunities or you are one among them. When you go for a campus placement, 50, 60 students are assembled into a hall. A company representative comes and makes a presentation, and then he is supposed to select a few people from that group. How do you think it's possible for them to select 5 people out of that 100 people? What are they looking for? I'm sure they are not looking for anybody and everybody. So if that was the case, they shouldn't have come to the campus at all. They should have just picked them up by lots. Right? So you have to become very conscious about how do I prove my distinct abilities. Your resume should be your signature. And that should be you should start building your resume from college, from school if possible. If not, now you've already missed the best, so at least from college. In most of the American universities, they take you through a resume writing session, which is typically a 3-credit program, whereby you are given complete understanding of how to build your resume, how to write your resume. Because the first level of screening of applications is resume. They don't see you at that time. So they screen as per what you're given. And if you don't make yourself attractive, you don't get selected in the first place. You may be a better candidate, but unfortunately you're not there. The next point is participate in activities to hone your leadership skills. It's similar to what I was telling you, but as an employer, I never looked at the marks and grades of candidates who came for interview. I wasn't interested at all because that's not my criteria. I always looked at their ability to articulate, their proven incidents of leadership qualities, and their sense of purpose. So you will get several leadership opportunities while you are at the college. It is by way of organizing or conducting seminars, placements, intercollegiate competitions, several things. If nothing is there, create one. You don't have to wait for something to happen. You make it happen. Become a leader in a small group. When they accept you, you gain confidence, and then you become a bigger leader. The next aspect is developing healthy habits. I have seen that the current generation, I'm not blaming them, they have great qualities, but the current generation have very different way of life. That is, their lifestyle is very different. Whether it is right or wrong, I don't know. But scientifically, people say that some of their habits are not healthy. For instance, many of them are deprived of sleep. They don't go to bed till 1 or 2 in the morning. They'll be chatting or watching movies or whatever. They get very little sleep. or they sleep during the day. It's not healthy. I'm saying go to bed early, get up in the morning. You have a balanced diet. They don't normally have a very clear breakfast, lunch, dinner kind of a healthy food. They get up and eat breakfast, lunch at the breakfast time. Sorry, breakfast at the lunch time, and so on and so forth. All this affects your body, your thinking capabilities. So some healthy habits you should have. And when you are young, it's much easy to practice it that way. Because as you get older, these habits will be more and more ingrained in you, and you will find it very difficult to come out of it. I'm not against use of mobile phones. Mobile phones are required, that is part of technology. And I think we all should have a mobile phone. But I am against excessive use of electronic gadgets. It affects your mind. There is no doubt about it. Research has proved that exposure to gadgets affect your memory and cognitive abilities and your ability to concentrate. And today I find that the younger generation are not able to concentrate in whatever they do. Their span of attention is very limited. Attention deficiency syndrome, what they call it. So today there is no teenager, it is a screenager. You are moving from small screen to bigger, you are moving from mobile phone to laptop to television to movie theater. Everything is screen. So you become a screenager rather than a teenager. And all this affects your cognitive abilities. The next point is become aware of what's happening around us. This is, in simple terms, generally we call it general knowledge or general awareness. General awareness, I find among the young generation is pretty low. And sometimes it can be very embarrassing. One way to make sure that you are in tune with what's happening around, your state or in India or abroad is to read newspapers or online publications or watch quality news channels. Thereby you get, even if you are able to do 1 hour of news, watching of news at the end of the day, at 9:30 or 10 o'clock, you get an idea about what's happening around the world. And if you don't do that, the world is moving much faster and you're going to be standing where you are. And this is what is happening. The next point is that it is time that you take interest in yourself. You have left your life to others to plan. Very often to your parents, to your siblings, to your friends and your teachers and so on and so forth. When are you going to take control of your life? And you have to have your physical, mental, emotional and psychological and maybe spiritual well-being. And they cannot help you in the examination hall. They cannot help you in an interview. They cannot help you when you are at work, you have a problem with your boss or with your customer. So it is time that you develop capabilities, you develop skills to face these issues which will be there throughout your life. The next point is explore the environment. We have beautiful places, beautiful culture, beautiful people. How much of that we have explored? We define our life and our world as just around us. And this lack of exposure makes us think in a very narrow way. You travel. I'm not talking about traveling to Europe or to America. You can travel within Canada. within other states, within India to start with. There's so many unexplored places, interesting people, interesting culture in Kerala itself. The life is so different from the southern end of Kerala to the northern end of Kerala. India is like Europe, where if you travel about 200 miles, the food, the language, the clothing, everything changes drastically. So you should not become a frog in the well. Come out of the well and explore the world. Another aspect is start something on your own. Even while you are a student, idea is not to make money. Idea is to gain experience. You start something on your own, then you know what are the challenges. It could be a small enterprise. You may fail also, doesn't matter. Even when you fail, you know what not to do. You have different, different learnings from even failure. The other point is, 11th point is, do part-time work if that is possible. In Western countries, children, school children and college students, they are engaged in part-time jobs in Pizza Hut or KFC, or there are several companies, that they all, even in Chennai, I've seen a lot of them are working for Dunzo, Zomato and all that in part-time. This gives you a different, you start tasting life, you start enjoying.
We're sorry for the interruption. Just give us a few minutes till we get it rectified.
Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yes.
Sorry, there was a power breakdown. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. So I was talking to you about part-time job. So if there are opportunities, one should be able to work in these part-time jobs and gain experience. That will also in the classroom, you should also learn how to ask more questions than answer questions. When you ask questions, it's a sign of your curiosity and your knowledge of the subject. Unless you know the subject, obviously you can't ask questions. And when you ask questions, you get better clarity of the subject. It's a good sign that you are following the professor. And there again, I've seen if someone is asking too many questions, your peer group may pull you down by saying that you're trying to outshine others or some such comments. It doesn't matter. People might say anything, but what you are interested in, like I said, loving your subject, having a passion for your subject. The 13th point is involving in community activities and social service. This is actually is very, very important if you are looking at a career in multinational organizations or reputed NGOs. They all look at you, what is your social commitment? There are various NGOs looking for voluntary work. I remember we had gone when we were in as undergraduate students for a survey to Thekadi to find out how many tigers are there in the forest. Of course, it was a Government of India project. But that looks very good on your resume, and that's a very good exposure. 14th point is learning an additional language. When I say additional language, it could be an Indian language or it could be a foreign language. I would prefer if you learn a foreign language. I know someone who learned Japanese. She was my colleague. She learned Japanese. She became so good in Japanese. Currently, she's in Tokyo teaching Japanese to Japanese students. What happens is all these companies, when they set up their business, they are looking for people who can talk their language as well as the language of India. So you have a great advantage if you learn Chinese, for instance, or Japanese or French, then it's much easier, and that's a very special skill that you have an additional knowledge of an additional language. It's something, and today you can learn any of this language online. There are courses available in most of the cities. It's not a big deal at all. And something which I never practiced, but today if I go back to college, which I will always follow, is taking notes in the classroom. Many a times, I have been a very passive listener in college, I thought. You sit there, listen, sometimes with concentration, sometimes without concentration, drifting here and there. But if you start taking notes along with the professor, then you are much more involved with the subject. And it registers in your mind a lot more. And last but one is try to get a few nice biographies and read them. It could be Mahatma Gandhi, it could be Nelson Mandela, it could be Dr. Abdul Kalam, Steve Jobs, or Richard Branson, or whatever. There are, on the Google, if you check, there are 10 biographies that they recommend for students. It tells you what makes them successful, why they were successful. Some of these qualities you can imbibe. And last point is, it's always nice to have a hero in your life. When I say hero, I didn't mean a film star. Someone who you idolize. It could be a business leader, it could be someone like a Ratan Tata or someone like that. And you follow him, understand what he does, understand what kind of statements he makes, how he moves with his business activities. It could be Kochasep Chitlapalli or anyone for that matter. The point is that it's nice to have someone that you follow. With this, my address is over. anything more than this would be a sermon. And if there are any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Thank you, sir. That was truly insightful. I hope everybody has understood the interaction session format. If you want to directly ask a question, please drop in the message in the chat box and we'll take it up. Or we will make the audio visual access available to you. Otherwise, you can drop in your question. And I think we've already started getting a few questions. And we will read it out to NINAN sir accordingly. Oh, ma'am. Yes.
I have a question. I'm Swarna James.
Go on, Swarna.
Strategy to identify and sharpen individual skill set during professional education.
Yeah, what's your question? I didn't get your question.
These strategies to identify and sharpen individual skill set during professional education.
Yeah, I thought the whole thing, whatever I told you, was that this 17 points that I is explaining to you will help you sharpen that. There is no specific, answer to that. It's not a single line answer.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
We've got a question that's come up. This is by Spandana, I think. Can you explain about the job opportunities abroad after BARC and EMA?
I don't know the processes, because I am sure that there will be specialized entrance and tests for getting a job for professionals. Like, for instance, you may not be able to practice in some countries unless you go through some certification processes. So I'm not an expert on architecture. I'm sure that your head of the department will know this a lot better. But if you are practicing, if you plan to practice architecture, I would suggest it's probably better to do your masters in those countries.
Okay.
That will make your job a lot easier, because most. Hello?
Yes, so we can hear you. I think there's a bit of a time lag in information. We're not able to see.
Sorry, sir, we can't hear you. Renu, are you able to hear me? Sir, intermittently your voice is breaking. Sorry, maybe I don't know whether it is our fault or your network issue. Renu, are you able to hear, sir?
No, sir.
Sir, intermittently your voice is breaking. Could you, if you don't mind, could you please repeat the answer once again, sir? Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Renu, ഒന്ന് വിളിക്കാമോ സാറിനെ? എന്താ പ്രശ്നമാണോ?
I think
സാറിന്റെ ഇഷ്യൂ ആണെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു അല്ലേ?
സാറിന്റെ ഇഷ്യൂ ആണ്.
Hello, sir.
One second, 1 second.
Okay, sir. Okay.
You have the camera, right?
Okay, sir. You can, sir. Sir, could you please repeat the answer once again?
Yeah.
If
Is
you
that
don't.
better?
Yeah, now it is okay, sir. Now it's okay. Renu, is it okay now?
Is that better?
Yes, sir.
It's okay, sir. You are
Yes, sir.
well audible. You are well audible, sir.
Yeah. No, I understood your question. There was a power breakdown in our building, and right now it's on generator, and therefore the Wi-Fi isn't working properly. That's a
Okay, sir.
problem. So
Okay, sir.
it didn't happen here.
Sorry, sir. Again, there is an interruption, I think.
Permits or equivalent.
Sir, your voice is cracking again. We're not able to hear you.
Before they hire somebody from another country.
Sir, actually there was an interruption in your answer. If you don't mind, could you please repeat once again, sir? Because intermittently we were unable to hear you. Hello, sir. Am I audible to you, sir? Renu, sir,
So we can. No, sir. We can wait for a moment.
okay.
It's coming very garbled actually.
Oh, I see. Sir, are you able to hear us? Sir, കേൾക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല.
Sir.
One second.
Audience, please hold on. There was a technical issue with the honorable speaker. Please hold on. He will join with us very soon. Please hold on. By the time, please think about the question. This is to the audience. Please, all of you, please think about questions. Sir will be available very soon.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, sir. We are able to hear you now.
I said, I think the and I think it's working on the now I think right.
Sir, we didn't get you. Sorry.
No, so I saw in season questions, but
Sir, again, your voice is cracking. It's still not consistent.
സാറിന്റെ പവർ അവിടെ പോയി എന്നാ സാർ പറഞ്ഞത്. ഇവിടെ എന്തോ സാറിന് പവർ സപ്ലൈയിൽ എന്തോ ഇന്ററപ്ഷൻ വന്നു.
yeah, I can put out the video.
I think you're, I think we can hear you clear right now. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, now it's okay, I think.
It's okay, sir. It's okay.
Yes.
Sir, could you please repeat your valuable answer once again? We were unable to hear you. Could you please repeat the answer once again if you don't mind?
So about architecture, first of all, I must admit that I'm not I'm not qualified to authoritatively give you an opinion on architecture, the work, outside India. But every country there is a work. And in order to do certain qualifications, if you have plans to work in another country in the field of architecture, it's better to do at least one program there. It could be a better idea to have a master. So because job placements and it's much easier. For instance, if you do an MBA from an ordinary institute and go for a job in the US, you may not get. But if the American companies come here for multinational companies and place the students from IIM and top institutions, it may be possible. So such students always prefer to go to American university and study. Then it becomes, you get 2 years of your practical training. My niece architecture in US and working in US.
Ninan sir? Sir, can you hear us? Ninan sir?
Now I think the connectivity at my place is sorted out. I think the problem is at your end. Looks like.
Sir, now your voice is clear, but I think a couple of minutes before, we couldn't reach you. But now it is okay. Are you able to hear we people, sir? Because we people are located in, speaking from different locations. We all were unable to hear you. Are you able to get us? Now it is okay, sir. We are able to hear you now. Are you able to hear we people, sir?
Now I can hear you. Yeah, now I can. Yes.
Okay.
I put off my video.
Okay. Sir, if signal is weak, you can put off the video, sir.
I put off my video.
Okay, fine. Thanks, sir. Now, next question, please. Yeah. Next question, please, audience.
There's another question by Ram Raju. How could I find passion in some subject even if it does not yield any result?
My question to you is that how did you choose this subject then? What made you choose this? There was some reason. Which means you have taken a wrong decision of having gone to a wrong subject. So I don't know whether you have done sufficient research before you chose the subject. Are you under some pressure from somebody to have chosen this subject? I won't be able to answer this question unless I get a response from you, because it's a serious issue. When I say serious issue, that if you are not interested in the subject, I don't know what purpose is there in continuing with that subject. Either you have to start developing interest in the subject, or you have to look at some other program. There are, I've seen engineers who've finished 4 years of engineering and then decide to quit engineering. Some of them want to add management qualification to engineering and go into managerial life, which is perfectly fine. So that's a fantastic combination. But imagine somebody doing engineering and want to completely change into medicine. There is something wrong with the line that you chose. So, I don't know this particular student, which program it is, and under what circumstances that person took that course. It's very difficult to answer that question. It's a very, very personal question. There must be some background to it.
Okay, sir. Sir, there was another question from a student that is regarding suggestions to improve interpersonal skills. He need your valuable suggestions to improve interpersonal skills. Pardon, sir? Pardon, sir? Hello, sir. Am I reaching you,
I
sir?
heard interpersonal relationship.
Yeah. His question was suggestions to improve interpersonal skills.
Hear you, but it's broken.
Okay. Renu, could you please repeat the
Can
question?
you repeat the question?
Yeah, sir. There was a question from a student regarding suggestions to improve
Suggestion to improve.
interpersonal skills. He need your suggestions to improve his interpersonal skills.
Interpersonal skills. Yeah.
Your voice is again breaking, sir.
First thing is that you have to take interest in people. You take interest in a particular person in the areas of his interest, then there is a common ground. If you find a common ground, for instance, if you find somebody interested in theater, or if there's if you find it, and you also have interest, that becomes a common ground. So take interest in somebody else, that's the beginning. Second thing is that you should be able to support each other. You have to make the first move. If you stand aloof and think that the world will come to you, that may not happen. Interpersonal relationship, one has to be extrovert. You have to come out of your shell, first of all. And working in teams is one way of strengthening your interpersonal relationship. Whenever you get an opportunity to work in a team. So when you start doing projects together, it could be in the form of, like I said, seminars and common activities, then you get more accepted. When you get more accepted, then you become a natural leader, or you are part of the group.
Okay, sir, we have.
Campus, yeah.
Okay, sir.
Go
Thanks.
ahead.
Thanks for your answer, sir.
Sir, we have another question from one of our students. Sir, can you please tell one book that you read which inspired you?
I think Nelson Mandela's book was most inspiring for me because I happened to meet him in South Africa, and I had the opportunity of having lunch with him, and he gave me this book, and I would rate that book as the one which influenced me the most. As a child, when I was in school, my father had given me Mahatma Gandhi's experiences with the life, and that book also, kind of influenced me a lot.
Thank you, sir. I think there is not much queries. Jisni?
Sir, I would like to ask one more question.
Okay, please.
How important is taking care of our mental health during adverse scenarios?
Sir, can you hear us?
Yeah, in between I lost it.
Okay, so now can you please repeat the question?
How important is taking care of our mental health during adverse scenarios?
Your question is how important?
Yes, sir.
It's very, very, very important to have a healthy mind. In my talk, I also told you that you can't concentrate on your studies unless you have a healthy mind. For that matter, even a healthy body. If you that you don't have energy to concentrate or read, write an exam. Same thing. If you are disturbed, you will not be able to concentrate on your studies. So you have to find out what causes this particular problem and address that problem. Very often, you can solve the problem by yourself. There are some cases where you may require some professional help. Whatever it is, you need to address that problem. You know, it could be something which you created by yourself, for all you know. But it is always better to talk to someone. It could be a professor, it could be a mature friend. But it's better to discuss with someone to analyze and see their perspective of the problem. They will be able to guide you. At least you get some other opinion.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the patience. We're really sorry that we have to wind up with the questions. There are still a lot of questions coming in. We're really sorry, but because of the time constraint, we will have to wrap up for now. Thank you to all the attendees also for your active.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, there was a.
Yes, sir.
Disney, I can't hear you. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay. Are you done responding to the question? I mean, I thought you're done responding to the question. Sir, NINAN sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Tell me. Disney, I can only see your lip movement. I can't hear.
Can you hear me now?
On and off, I can hear you.
Renu, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sir, I think.
Yeah, now I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
Now I can hear you.
You want to take another question or should we wrap up? Are you okay with wrapping up? Like,
I am okay. I am okay with one more question. That's okay.
Okay, so we then we'll take one last question.
Sure.
I think a relevant question that had come up was, what are the required habits to be developed for an ethical career in any streams?
Habits for what? What career?
For an ethical career.
Ethical career. All right. Yes. I think any good quality will go a long way. For instance, any organization will appreciate honesty. You got to be honest. Second thing is that if you are sincere to the purpose, you know, you should be able to stick. Whatever happens. There are testing times. There are times when there will be people against you and with your principles. Be fair to others, especially if you are a team leader. If you are a manager, their career, their future is in hands, and you should be able to work without prejudices. Be fair, and lastly, lead by example.
Sir, can you repeat the last bit once again? I think your voice is cracking.
Live by example. That's what he said. Disney.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Are you able to hear us? I mean, are you able to hear me?
Disney,
I'm worried that we lost him again.
There is a power failure and he's on generator. Then I think, he's been calling me in between also. I think we can wrap up with the vote of thanks.
Sure, sure. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Really sorry that we had to cut short on the questionnaire. For
Now
the
I
vote
can
of
hear
thanks-
you.
Yes. Yes, sir. So we'll wrap up then.
I can hear you, Asha. Yes, sure.
Thank you, sir.
I'm sorry that, there's some of this towards the last 10 minutes, that we couldn't hear each other. So there seems to be some problem at your end also, because right
Yes.
now our Wi-Fi is working. It's, yeah.
No problem.
Is it raining out there?
No, sir. No.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Patience and your time. For the vote of thanks, I invite Ms. Varna Jain.
Respected Speaker of the Day, Mr. NINAN THARIYAN, our Chief Facilitator, Mr. Ravi DC, Dean Management Studies, Dr. N. Ramachandran, Director, Dr. Srikanth SP, faculty members, and my dear DCNs. I am much privileged to deliver the vote of thanks for this evening. NINAN THARIYAN, sir, Speaker of the Day, who spared his valuable time despite his busy schedule. Thank you, sir, for your kind words, encouragement. Let me take this opportunity to thank our Chief Facilitator, Dean Management Studies, our Director, for arranging and giving an opportunity to all of us to empower ourselves about making the best use of our professional studies. Let me also thank all our faculty members for their participation. Last but not the least, a big thanks to all participants for your active and enthusiastic participation. Thank you all.
Thank you, Swarna. Again, on my behalf, again, I would like to say
Thank you.
thanks to all the attendees and the panelists too. Thank you, Ninan sir, once again. We hope to see all of you for our next live webinar series as well. And until then, wishing all of you a lovely goodbye.
So thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, sir.
Oh, thank you, Asha.
Yeah.
You are very audible. I don't know, there was some problem in it. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
sir.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, we are closing now. Thank you.